Hello, and welcome back to a brand new week of the CWC podcast. That is the Curvy Wellness Chronicle podcast. How is your week going? How has your week been? And if you're not listening to this during the week, how is your weekend going? I hope it's going well, and I hope you are doing good. For me, I feel like I've got a cold going on or a cold about to form. I can just feel that I feel congested. And yeah, I just feel congested. And what was it? I took some antihistamine tablets. I took two actually because I thought I was no, I'm definitely sure that I had hay fever or hay fever was brewing because my eyes started itching and I started sneezing as well. So I know for a fact that it's hay fever. So I've taken two antihistamine tablets, but I'm probably going to make a hot toddy later on just to soothe my throat and like just to make myself slightly feel better. But that's how I'm doing so far. So I do apologize. I will try to keep my coughing down to a minimum there. And yeah, I have got some water here with me that I will be drinking just to make sure that I sound clear, if that makes sense. Okay, before we go and gist, let me tell you who you're talking to. Let me tell you who is in your ear. It is me, it is I, it is your favorite curvy gym baddie Mimi. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I did whoop, whoop, whoop because I can't make the sound. Because when I make the sound, it seems like my voice is gone. And I want to have my voice to be able to talk to you. And yeah, so I will be your host. I'm always your host unless I have a guest on with me. And this week, we don't have a guest, it's just me and you just gisting and chatting. Well, it'll be just me just gisting and you just listening. But I want to hear your thoughts on what we're going to talk about. But before I talk, I am talking. Before I gist you about what we will be talking about today, I just want to say if we've got any new listeners, hi and welcome to the CWC podcast. The CWC podcast is the Curvy Wellness Chronicles. It is where we will share our embarrassing stories. Well, me more so. If you write in your embarrassing stories, yay, we share it together. But don't worry, you'll be held anonymous. We'll also be sharing some food recipes. We'll be making some food recipes there as well. We'll also be sharing some tips. We'll be diving in and seeing what's going on within the health and wellness space and doing some trends and some challenges there as well. Here is going to just be a safe space where we can show up and just be our authentic self and where we can just gist and laugh and where we don't have to feel alone in this space because I know it can feel overwhelming and it can just make you feel anxious. I know sometimes it makes me feel anxious there. So our second episode, this is our second episode, we will talk about all or nothing and giving up. So, between 80 and 88% people give up on their New Year's resolution by February. And that's quite a lot. Let's be honest, that is a lot. And I was one of them. I want to say I used to be one of them, but sometimes I can dip in and out. But I'm going to raise my hand, although this is an audio podcast. I am raising my hand because I used to be one of them. I used to be one of them where I would throw in the towel. Let's be honest with you. My purpose and my mindset was pretty non-existent there. It was literally when I would say non-existent, probably they weren't aligned together. What is meant by the all or nothing mindset? I am going to try and explain. So, according to the internet, what is meant by the all or nothing mindset is a distortion that involves with one thinking in extremes with no room for grey areas within the context within the context of fitness, it is that you have a perfect workout or anything else is shit. You know that feeling. I know this feeling all too well because it happened to me last week. Last week when I was at the gym. No, technically I'll say this week because it happened to me this week. Last week is the week before. It happened to me this week when I was at the gym, actually. I was. I go to the gym, as you know, regularly. So it would have been because I didn't go in the morning because I tend to like to go in the morning. So I didn't go in the morning. I went later than I normally did. And I was just thinking, oh my God, like this is just going to be absolutely rubbish there because I wasn't going at my set time. So that had already pissed me off and had irritated me. And I was like, right, we're here now. And I just wasn't feeling it. And I was and I was just doing it half-heartedly. And then afterwards I left, I was just like, oh, that was literally, it was a shit workout. There was no point in me even going. But now I'm sitting back and thinking about it, I was just like, although it was a shit workout, I actually went and I did work out. So just because I didn't go as hard as I would have normally, or I tend to, it doesn't mean it was a shit workout. You still turned up, you still showed up for yourself, you still worked out. I still, what day was that? It, it was a day that I was doing quads and hammies with a sprinkle of upper back. Just a sprinkle, sprinkle. So on that day, I felt like I didn't show up the way I normally showed up. But actually thinking about it now, I still worked out. It was still a session. Fair enough, it wasn't the session that I intended, that I wanted to have, but I still had the session. So saying that just because you go to the gym and you go to like let give you another example. Let's say you're on your lunch break, you have 40 minutes to work out. Well, you have 40 minutes for your lunch break, and you're like, oh, do you know what? Let me go hit the gym. I'll do 30 minutes. And you feel like, oh, do you know, you didn't go as hard as you wanted to. You still worked out within that 30 minutes. Some people don't go on their lunch break to go work out for 30 minutes. Or let's say you went for a walk. It wasn't a long walk that you intended to go, but babes, you still went on that walk. You still tied your shoelace. You still got out of your house for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, and you still walked. But you still get what I mean. You walked. You did that little something something. You did that little workout. So don't discourage it and think like, oh, because it wasn't your all, you're not going to count it as a workout. You still did something, babes. That's what you got to remember. I still did something. Like for you, when was the last time that you thought you didn't do something? That you didn't do something? Like, let me rephrase that. In the context of the all or nothing theory, how can you relate? That is what I want to say. How can you relate to the all or nothing theory? How has that impacted you? In that could be into your fitness journey, or it can be something at work, or it can be something at home, where the all or nothing theory actually you can relate to it. I can give you another example. So I am currently on a cut. It's my first ever cut that I'm doing. So I think it was in week 2 or week 3. I wanted cake. You know I love cake. You know I freaking love cake. So I had some cake. Tasted good. Oh, it was so moist. It was a very good piece of cake, actually. I did enjoy it. But I could have been like, oh, if like I had the all or nothing mindset, it would be like, because I've had that cake, do you know what? Eat the whole goddamn cake and that's it. Oh, damn, we're done. We fucked up. We can't go on again. But it was just like, oh, do you know what? It was like, okay, I ate the cake. Was the cake good? Yeah, it was tasty. Do I want another piece? Yes, I would like another piece, but is it worth it? It's not worth it right now because we've got a goal we've got to reach to. We're working towards something. So it's just like you enjoyed that piece of cake, but that doesn't mean everything's ruined. The hard work that we've put in is not over. Okay. So it's like you can still continue, you can still go on. So I want you to think to yourself, like, was there a time or has there been a time where you had the all or nothing mindset? And if you did have that all or mindset, did you just throw in the towel? What did you do? Think about that. Who am I to tell you off about whether you threw in the towel or whether you continued or anything like that? This is our safe space to talk it out. It's to gist about it and to educate each other about it. So don't stress, don't no calms. I'm not gonna like tell you off about it because me too. I'm still learning. So right here now. With the all or nothing mindset, it it can affect us. Like like it can affect us mentally, and it can also not just mentally, but it can also lead us to having unrealistic expectations of ourselves. You know what I mean? You're probably like, oh no, Mimi, what do you mean? Tell me more. Okay, no stress, I will tell you more. So how it can have unrealistic expectations of ourselves is that it can lead us to believing that we have to achieve perfection within our fitness, or like if you've got a task to complete at work or something, or if you're doing something at school. I say school because we may have some young baddies listening to us, so I've got to include them. So it can lead to these unrealistic expectations where we're chasing, that's the word, where we're chasing for perfection. And it can lead to unrealistic performances because we will then think, do you know what? Because I haven't done, because I haven't nailed that RDL correctly, that means that was shit. It's like, it was really bad. And then not only will it have expectations on our performance, but it will have expectations on the way we see ourselves there. I don't want to say the word diet, so I'm going to say lifestyle because I don't like the word diet. It will have an unrealistic expectation on our lifestyle change there. And then leading from perfectionism, it will also, the all or nothing mindset theory will also have us feeling guilty, feeling ashamed that, like, let's say me eating that piece of cake, it would, if I had if I had fallen into that all or nothing mindset, I would be feeling guilty and ashamed that I ate cake. But I didn't. I enjoyed the cake. And I said it to my followers, my followers on Instagram and on TikTok that I ate the cake. I enjoyed the cake. It was a fucking good cake. As you can tell, I fucking love cake. How many times do I gotta say it, Mimi? You love cake, we know. But anyway, if I had led to that, it would be like I would feel guilty and ashamed, and then it would affect my mental health and my mental well-being because I will I will be bad and I would be hard on myself, being like, you shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, I can't believe you've done that. Now we've ruined everything. And no, you enjoyed it. It was good. You indulged. We can move on from that. Another way it can um affect us, like unrealistic expectations of ourselves, is the hard bit to adapt. Okay. What do I want to say? Inability to adapt there. So it's just like when you're faced with challenges, or when, especially at work, it could be that, or you've got a busy schedule, or like, let's use life for example, and we're starting something, and we all know life can be so busy. We can get so busy and so caught up, and by us having that all or nothing mindset and life being so busy, by us starting to do something, because life gets so busy, and we're not able to complete what we said to ourselves that we were going to do, whether that was to go to the gym twice a week, whether that was to make sure that we only have one takeout once a week or two takeouts a month. And because life can get so busy, and then we have that all or nothing mindset, and we have gotten so wrapped up, and now you've had five takeaways in a month, you're going to be like, if we have that mindset, you're going to be like, oh, do you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it all. Because I've just had five takeaways this month. And I told myself I was only going to have two, but I've had three extras. And now everything's fucked up. No, everything is not fucked up. We've just got to adapt. It's okay. And if we did have this all or nothing mindset, we would give up entirely. And then this also does create the starting and stopping, which leads back to the between 80 and 88% of people quitting their New Year's resolution. I think this would be the inability to adapt would be, I think that would be the main one. Actually, come to think of it, that's probably was what I would say this was one of the main reasons why I used to quit back in the day. Inability to adapt, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, work's gotten too busy, I would cancel. Yeah, I think this is definitely one for me. And then I want to bring on to the next point, which would be neglecting your overall well-being. So, solely focusing on like your fitness goals can lead, it can have a negative impact on your other aspects of well-being. So, like your emotional well-being there, like going out. I know that this affects me socially going out. So, like, hey, it's a safe space yet again, and we are here gisting and we are here talking it through. So, it can lead to other neg- negative not negative, neglecting your overall well-being there. And most importantly, I want to say most importantly, but it can have an impact on motivation. And I just want to let you know, motivation, motivation, motivation is fleeting, is fleeting, motivation is fleeting. Don't depend on motivation because it's fleeting. Yes, so that was my montage. You can't really depend on motivation, okay? Although it does impact on motivation, motivation shouldn't be your prime source that you go to, okay? So, by all or nothing theory, it will have an impact on your motivation over time, which will then make it harder to stick to what is it that you want to continue. And I've been there. Like I said, I raise my hands up. Yeah, I raise my hands up to say I have been there. And how are we going to do it? How are we going to get back on track? How are we going to get on backtrack? This is how we are going to get back on track. This is how I've handled it in the past and how I handle it currently. The main important one that I try and do is I give myself grace. I show myself a little bit of compassion. So when I talk to myself, I shouldn't say that out loud. I just, well, do you know what? I'm telling you, I talk to myself, and I talk to myself like as if I was a little child. And I'll be like, if I've had something, you're not going to go and tell that child off like, oh my God, because you've ate that, you're not going to grow, or you're going to add more weight. It's just like, okay, you've had that. Okay. Right, let's move on. Give myself grace and show myself some compassion rather than being horrible to myself, because you're not going to be horrible to the 10-year-old you, to the 5-year-old you, are you? No, you're not. So you're going to be like kinder. That's why when I tell myself off, I like to think to myself, You're telling off your 10-year-old self, your 5-year-old self, your toddler self. You're going to be kind to her. You're going to be kind to little Mimi. Okay. Then I like to reframe my mindset. And I just like to refocus because I know sometimes I can be a perfectionist sometimes. And so I'll just reframe myself. And at the end of the week, or like especially at the end of the day, I like to celebrate the small things that I've done really well. And I'll be like, oh, okay, but you did this really well. And okay, so the prime example would be remember when I mentioned that I was at the gym, and then at the gym, I didn't, I felt like it didn't go well. But then again, I increased the weight and I I didn't get my 12 reps that I wanted to do, but I got six. I got 6 reps on the lat raises, and that was on a 55 kg. So I celebrated the small wins there. So what I'm saying is that that's another thing that you can do is shift your perspective and focus on, rather than focusing on perfection, focusing on your small wins and the small victories that you can do. Another thing about setting, another thing about handling setbacks, I would say, is you want to set realistic goals. You want to break it down a bit smaller because let's say, okay, I'm on a cut. Okay, this is my first cut. So it's just like I've never done a cut before, so I did 6 weeks. So after my 6 weeks, I am gonna look at it and be like, oh, okay, and see and look at it and just go, all right, maybe do another 6 weeks there. Or I'll break it down a bit more and make it more manageable for myself. And I won't I won't say, oh, I'm gonna do a cut for 2 weeks because for me, that probably that I know I say it probably won't work. I know it won't work. So for someone else, it might do, but I've just got to set realistic goals for me. And then this is a good one. This is a good one. I would say so setbacks. So you know how I said, like, let's say you weren't planning to have takeaway, but you're only going to have takeaways twice in a month. So what you can do is write write a plan. Have a calendar there, or have a calendar, and then so it's a visual thing that you can see, and then you also make a meal, and then you've created a a food plan there, and it has the calendar there as well. So it has the 2 days where you can have takeaway there. And then the rest of the days on your calendar is filled with when you have your non-takeaway food. So that way, it's a visual plan that you can see that can help you there. And it's also a flexible plan that makes it won't that you can adjust around. Let's say, just make it flexible to you, and yeah, that's what I would say. Make a flexible plan for you. You can, if you've got to move like your 2 days around that you want to have your takeaway, then you can move it around, but it just has to be flexible to you. And I'm just using the 2 days of food takeaway as an example a month. Okay, I my next thing would be no, I'll say that to the last one because I think that one's quite the important one. I think that one's the most well, for me, it's the most important one, I would say. I This is a good one actually. Reflect and learn, because sometimes we say like we failed at something. And what I try and tell myself is that I haven't failed, I've just learned a lesson. So if I try and get myself into like I try and get myself into that mindset going, I haven't failed at that. I've just learned a lesson from it. So that way, because sometimes when you say to yourself you failed, it makes you feel shit. It makes you feel shit and sad about yourself. So I would rather say, that didn't go well. What have I learned from that? So then that way it gives you a better chance to understand and to reflect and then also learn. You can reflect and you can readjust your goals to what didn't go so well there. So for me with my cut, I like to do a reflect and like also like a recap and be like, all right, this is what went well, this is what didn't go too well, and this is what I need to alter and I need to change there. Next one is have have a network. You want to look for a network. It can be a friend. You can reach out to a family. You can have get your if you haven't thought about getting a coach or a personal trainer and you are new into the I would say new. If you are a beginner in this fitness space, I would definitely say get a trainer or get a coach because you want someone who knows what they're doing. And you also, when I say get a coach or a PT, you want to be able that they're your they're your friend, but as well as being a friend, they are tough on you because I feel that's where the best relationship comes, and you're willing to take take on their knowledge and what they're explaining to you at the same time. You don't want someone that's going to be harsh that you don't feel comfortable with, because when you don't feel comfortable, you're not really going to ask questions, or you're not going to be able to follow the plan of what they have given you to follow, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to gain weight, whatever your goal is, you want to have a professional that you can relate to and that you have a good rapport with, as well as seeking, as well. If you're a bit longer in this game, I would say, like I said, reach out to a friend, some of your friends or a family, just to have encouragement there. I use my Instagram and my TikTok there, as well as I have some friends that I will like message to. It's just, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe. Then it's just like they give me that word of encouragement to keep going and be like, oh, you can do this there. And it makes me feel like I'm not isolated and I'm not feeling alone. Especially, I would say, especially when I was in the middle of my cut and I got my period, I was just like, shit. I was just like, I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to reach out and be having snacks because, I love snacks. And I didn't want to start having cake. So I didn't want to go and like reach out and have cake. So I reached out to I would say to my supportive community online, my online supportive community. And I asked the fellow baddies, like, what do they do? Anyone been on a cut? Like, what do you do? And I got a good response there. So that is another thing that you can do. I would also say this is the one that I was saving that I think is the most important one. I would say focus on your mindset. Everyone, like, I do believe abs are made in the kitchen, but it also starts from your mind first. There's no point being like, oh, let me get on the fitness journey, let me start, because it all starts in the mind. You've got to believe and you've got to know this is what you want. This is what you want in your mind, and you have to be mindful. You have to practice mindfulness. I have a journal, so I journal every night before I go to bed. So if it's not every night, it's every other night, and that also helps me to, I would say, stay present. I also helps me to reflect on the day, and then I also like to write. What I like to do is like I write three things that went really well in the day, and then it just mm, helps me to be like I've got this sort of thing like that, and then it also helps me to navigate like any negative things there, and like, oh, those are my tips on how those are my tips on how to handle setback. You I hope they were helpful for you. And if you do have tips on any tips to handle setback, then do write to CWC podcast gmail.com, or literally leave some comments below. Embarrassing stories. So I don't know if you remember Teetotal. Okay, so Teetotal was like this DVD. Was it Teetotal or Insanity? I don't know what it was. But my brother used to do it. And then I remember he was just like, "Oh yeah, you should do it with me," and everything like that. I tried that. I tried doing, because it was a DVD. I think like you do it for 30 days or something, and then after the 30 days, you like get a T-shirt or you get a medal or something. Did I even last 10 minutes? Did I even last 10 minutes doing that insanity workout? I was just like, what is this? Why am I punishing myself? I was like, all for a T-shirt. Are you fucking mad? Are you are you mad? Are you on crack? Are you on crack? I was just like, no, absolutely not. I was like, I'm not doing this for no fucking T-shirt. Absolutely not. That is one gym failure challenge that I was just like, oh, because I was planning to do it. That is like one all or nothing mindset. What did I learn from it? I was just like, that sort of challenge isn't for me. So I'm gonna let my fine cute ass, gonna sit myself back down. I ain't doing that. Oh gosh. I told you I've got stories. Okay. So this is another story from me. It's like, you know how everyone's trying to do a pull up, all the baddies are trying to do a pull up. Me too. I want to join. So this would have been like a year ago. So a year ago when I joined, no, because I've been at my gym for 2 years. So a year into my gym, I too wanted to try do it. I wanted to be a part of the pull up baddies and everything. So obviously I tried. Tell me, I've got a video on my TikTok. So obviously this is an audio, so you can't see it, because if you could, I will put the video here. So I would have inserted the video so that you could see me doing it. The way I struggled, and I was just like, nah. I was just like, why can't I do this? I like doing the band, trying to put my leg into the band slips. I like get a step up box. I roll the step up box to be like, I looked at videos. I was like, by fire or force, I will do this pull up today. Did I do it? No. However, lesson learned here. Lesson learned. There are some tips that I got to be able to do some pull ups. So I will try it at the end of the year. I do practice inverted rows on the Smith machine because they say that does help there. And I practice getting thick a thick resistant band. I use the orange one at my gym, so hopefully that should help. So I'm hoping by the end of the year I'll be part of the pull-up buddies. You'll see me going, "Mm," pulling myself up and doing the negative drop of pull-ups there as well. So watch this space. This segment is a this or that. It is a game that we are going to play, and you guys can play along with me. Okay, so this or that, all or nothing, giving up in the gym. So all or nothing workouts or moderate consistent workouts. Hmm, I'll do moderate consistent workouts. Strict meal plans or flexible eating. I would choose flexible eating just because I like a variety of meals. So that way, as long as my flexible eating, it was flexible meal plans, then I think I'll be okay with that. Okay. Daily workouts or working out a few times a week. Oh, I think I fall for daily workouts because I work out every day apart from Saturday and Sunday. So I think I fall for the daily workouts. Chasing perfection or celebrating progress. You know me, I'm gonna say celebrating progress. A win's a win. Mm. Working out alone or with a supported friend. If you see me at the gym, I work alone. I was born alone, so I stand alone. No, actually, I like to enjoy my time. I work out alone. Once I got my AirPods in, I am singing away, I'm dancing away. Mm, I'm in gym is my club. Let me dance and sing it out. Okay, setting high goals or achievable milestones. Achievable milestones. Because if I do achievable milestones, get to have a little celebration at the end. And no, I'm not talking about the celebration chocolates, but do you remember them? I'm talking about little celebrations that I could either possibly like just get myself a little something, something, depending on how small the milestone is or how good I did that milestone. Okay, next is feeling guilty after missing a workout or letting it go. Let it go, let it go. It doesn't matter that you missed a workout. Let it go, let it go. You're not gonna make me feel bad anymore. Let it go, let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Let it go. My answer is let it go. Okay, next, tracking every meal or enjoying food without tracking. Oh, oh, this is hard. Mm, okay. Oh, okay. Because I'm doing my cutting season, I think I would say tracking every meal. However, hear me out, hear me out. If I'm having the same meal daily, does that mean I have to track every meal? Hmm. That is a question. That is a question indeed. Or enjoy food without tracking. Because I've got goals that I want to achieve. It's going to be tracking every meal. It's going to be tracking every meal. Okay. Pushing through, pushing through fatigue or listening to your body. I am that baddie that is currently pushing through the fatigue. I'm pushing through, baby. 'Cause that's where the games are made. That's where the gains are made. Push it through the left. No. Push it through the left. There is a song. I just don't know what the song is called. But anyway, I'm pushing through. Push it through, baby. Okay. Quitting when faced with a setback or finding a way to adapt. What are we doing, baddies? We are finding a way to adapt because what is it? What did Beyonce say? Quitters don't quit on themselves. Because we ain't no quitters. We aren't quitters, baddies. We aren't quitters. We are going to find a way to adapt and we are going to adapt. Because what are we? We are baddies. We are bold. We are authentic. We are dynamic. We are driven. We are impressive. And we are empowering. Yeah. Hmm. All right, all right, all right. That is us. That is me. That is I. We have come to the end of the CWC podcast. And once again, I want to say thank you for listening today. So I will catch you on the next podcast. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the flip. Bye.